All right, today we're going to work on taking the 5 pieces we've drawn in Inventor. Right, we have all our individual pieces, and we're going to work on assembling them so they look just like the cube, just like we would build them in real life. Okay, so I'm going to start with the orange and green since they're just sitting up here on top. So first I have to place the parts in Inventor by creating an assembly, because we're going to do assembling. We're going to place our parts. Okay, so we want the orange. Sorry, there, that's nice. So we just click once. Orange shows up, and then we hit the escape key on our keyboard, and it goes away. And now we got to place the green. So we go grab the green, we're going to open him, click once anywhere, and hit escape again, so we have our 2 pieces. Okay, now if we scroll around, you can see we have our 2 pieces, and they're kind of going to sit, next to each other. Okay, kind of like that. That's what we want. Okay, but we have to actually constrain them so they can't move. So I'm going to go up here to constrain, and I would suggest just do 2 pieces at a time. Don't bring in all 5 because it just makes your life confusing. We're going to constrain. There's 2 different ways we can constrain. There's mate. Mate is when you take the 2 sides and you kind of stick them together, kind of like you're clapping your hands. Okay, my hands are going to be stuck together. So we're going to constrain this side with that side, how they stick together. Okay, so I'm going to go here and make sure I click mate. And then I'm going to click, and this is what takes a little bit. We got to turn our stuff around. We're going to click this side, and we want them to stick into that side. And then we're going to say OK. And now if we look around, they're kind of stuck, but they kind of can move all over the place still, right? Look, but they're attached somewhat because they can't get away from each other. But now if we look, if I look down the picture, it's like they're just like this. We got to line that up. We got to line up the 2 tops, or the 2 edges here. So that's called flush. So I'm going to go back to constrain, and I'm going to click this time on flush. And click the top of this with the top of that. Okay, I'm going to say OK. You can see that the 2 tops have lined up, and we can't move them on top off of each other. Sometimes it looks like you can, but you really can't. See, the tops stay together. Side to side stays together. It's just when there's one more, right? Look, it's this side over here, the 2 right sides, the way I have it oriented right now. So we're going to do another flush. Pretty much always takes 3 constraints to fully constrain and get rid of all your degrees of freedom. So I flush these 2 sides together, and I say OK. And no matter what I do, look, they both move together completely now. I cannot get them separated apart, no matter what direction I move, right? They're stuck together. Now, if I go back here and click the home, that takes me to the isometric. But that's sitting kind of like this, isn't it? But we had it sitting like that. So if we want it to go back to sitting like this, we have to go find that view. Okay? And we're going to reset it to stay there. So I'm going to flip that guy around. I'm going to rotate him this way. And then I think if I go, oops, wrong way. Takes a little bit of work here. And I click the upper left, and boom, now we have him sitting like we wanted to, right? Okay, because that's how we had our cube sitting. It's kind of like that. Once we get him to where we want, we right-click on the cube and say set current view as home, fit to view, and then this part right here that's the bottom really should be the front. So we're going to say set current view as front. And now every time we click the house, it comes in just like we have it down here, and all is good. If you want to check to make sure that you got rid of all the degrees of freedom and they're completely locked together, if you go in this middle section called productivity and click the drop-down menu, there's one called degree of freedom analysis. Okay? It's usually sitting here. That's when you go to degree of freedom analysis, and you can see that there's no degrees of freedom between the green and the orange. Now the orange says he moves because he's the first part I put in, right? He's able to move around. Typically, when you do something, you want to lock a piece down. Usually it's like the floor. Since the puzzle cube can always move, we don't always do that. But if you want to lock that down to get rid of all the degrees of freedom, right-click on your first piece, and you go down here and you say grounded. When you click that grounded, now nothing will move. See how it's got a little pin in it up here? Nothing can move now. Okay, no matter what I do, I can't move anybody. Now I can still rotate him around, right? But I can't grab and move anybody anymore. I can rotate. But every time I hit home, He'll come right back and nothing moves. And if I click degree of freedom analysis again, see how they're both 0? Everybody is locked down tight, fully constrained. I'm going to end this one. I will come back and do the other 3 pieces on here in a separate video. Feel free to watch that one if you still think you need more help.